My name is Shanta Thomas. Hello and welcome. I have been in the industry for 20 years and I really focus on, well, I should say almost 20 years, right? It's been 19 years and lots of change. But I have been in the industry for almost 20 years and I specialize in taxation. So I do a lot of things. I don't do a lot of tax prep. I get a lot of questions about tax prep. I don't do a lot of tax prep. I do resolution services and I also do advisory or strategy or consulting, tax consulting type services. So I do a lot of that from, again, the tax perspective, but you can, whatever you call it, planning, strategy, advisory services, all of it is to help people to get into compliance, stay into compliance, reduce their taxes, and help them to make sound, smart decisions when it comes to taxation. That's what I do. So I love this space. And today I want to talk to you about resolving COVID-related tax liabilities. And this is a really important topic because one of the things I have been seeing lately are a lot of people are coming to me with tax issues that are resulting from COVID or the last 3 or 4 years, even 5 years. So who remembers the PPP? So if you remember the PPP, right? Most of us remember the PPP. That was one of many programs that was designed to help Americans during COVID. So in COVID, businesses and individuals received a lot of money from the states, from their jobs, from the government, and it was all basically like free money, right? So yes, there were lots of people who misused it and took advantage of these opportunities. But for many of us, it was really the thing that kept us afloat, made sure that we were eating, had shelter, all the necessities of life, right? We didn't let a penny go to waste. We couldn't let a penny go to waste because we had all of these responsibilities, but we weren't really making the money because a lot of our jobs were closed, schools were closed, so people couldn't work. There were all of these things that we just had to figure out during COVID. This was new for us. We just had to figure it out. So fast forward. Now we're in 2024. And since then, many businesses have felt a struggle in the market. We are seeing businesses close, Express. I saw recently file for bankruptcy. I have seen TD Bank has closed multiple stores. Like we're hearing it time and time again. Businesses are shutting down. Mass layoffs we're seeing, right? And 2023 was a year, baby. If you have a business and are still in service, you should pat yourself on the back because you made it. 2023 was a one for the record books. It was not an easy year. So life has been challenging, but we are still kind of paycheck to paycheck 4 years after COVID. So we're still feeling the strain 4 years after COVID. We're not out of the woods yet. And to make matters worse, now many of us are dealing with the effects of all that money that was received during COVID. So that money wasn't in fact free money because many of us have to pay taxes on that money. Now, there was some money that was given where people had the PPP and things like that, and it was a loan and different things, but much of the money that was received during those time periods, there are taxes that are due on that money. And so now, one of the things that we found is that given all that money was given to the community, that money was made, especially if you were an online business, your business was probably booming because it was easier to run ads, or it was cheaper to run ads at that time than it is now, right? So some businesses did really, really well then. Plus there was all this other money coming in, right? And now those businesses aren't doing as well. And all these taxes are owed. Now, some people might say, well, during that time, yes, I made a lot of money, but for a lot of people, it might've been the first time they were making a lot of money, which means they didn't put taxes aside because they didn't know they had to put taxes aside, right? Because it's one of those things that they're doing, experiencing something for the first time, they don't realize what it is that they need to do. Now they're in a period where there's a strain in the market, so you're not receiving the same amount of money that you did back then, and all these taxes and other things are due, right, and owed. because steps weren't taken then to resolve it, or there wasn't an understanding of what was needed, whatever the case is. But now the money is due. So what do you do in those situations, right? I have had people reaching out to me who owe $40,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 from periods from the last 4 or 5 years. I've also had people reaching out to me because they have multiple years of taxes, which they haven't even filed because they've been scared to file, and they don't know what to do because now they have this massive amount of debt that they think they owe, or they do know that they owe, but they don't make the same amount of money that they did before. So things I want to tell you is, if this is you, or if you're in this situation, it's actually, believe it or not, a great situation to be in. It's a great situation to be in. And the reason why it's a great situation to be in is when you're in a situation where you made a lot of money and now you don't make as much money, there's opportunities that you can't take advantage of, that there are opportunities that you actually can take advantage of that you couldn't take advantage of when you were making more money, right? So if you're making a lot of money still, the IRS would basically say, well, you're making plenty of money. There's no reason why you can't pay your outstanding bill. But if you're somebody who's not making all that money, you're in a better situation because the IRS sees that there may not be an opportunity to pay the bill. So what I'm telling you is that if you were in a situation where you were making money before, you had that money, but you're not, now you don't have all of that money. Or even if you're in a situation where you owed all these taxes and they're sending you letters or liens. And I know lien letters recently went out because I've had calls from clients and things like that, and levy letters went out. So if you have that and you're getting these letters from the IRS, or they're saying you owe all this money to get into compliance, you got to file returns or pay these taxes, the best thing that you can do for yourself is take time to get into compliance to figure out how to handle these things. And if you are someone who actually made a lot and aren't making, or made a lot before but aren't making a lot now, you are in a great situation to get out of debt, or get that debt down, and possibly even qualify for an offer and compromise, or some type of streamlined installment, because you don't make as much money. So I have actually 2 offer and compromises that I'm working on right now. Offer and compromises, first of all, most people don't qualify for, and they come few and far in between. But because people have had these massive amount of tax debts that resulted from prior periods, and now they're not making as much money, not getting all that money anymore, they are qualifying in ways that they haven't in prior times. So a lot of people are afraid and like, well, because I don't have the money to do it, I don't want to do anything. But that's the worst thing you can do. Why you don't have all the money and you don't make as much money, this is the time to try to get it resolved, because there are more things that you would qualify for because you don't make as much money. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. So whereas before you might not have gotten it, right? Because you were making plenty of money. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is not leave yourself exposed with levies, with liens, things like that, that could be owed because these things haven't been done. So you want to get your house in order. You want to take care of it now. So if you have multiple years of returns that haven't been filed, if you have outstanding tax liabilities, that is continuing to grow month over month. Interest is continuing to accrue on it. In some cases, penalties are continuing to accrue. And don't forget, for each new year that you don't file, there are more penalties that are being added. There's more interest that is being added as well. And that interest is compounding on a daily basis. So you are talking about a lot of money that you're going to end up owing, and that is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I tell people, don't get embarrassed if you are somebody who owes money. In particular, I'm saying this to other professionals, because I met a lot of accounting professionals who are in the accounting industry who don't, who feel like they shouldn't be in a situation where they owe a lot to the IRS. They don't understand why they're owing so much to the IRS, and they're somewhat embarrassed by it. You shouldn't be embarrassed, even if you're an accountant in the industry, because accountants in this industry, your main job or focus is not tax. So there are going to be tax things that you may not know. I've had a lot of professionals reach out to me who need support, who are in the accounting space. So if that's you, then don't worry about that. You just want to get yourself in compliance. That's the important thing. Get yourself into compliance. And try to do it soon, because those levies and those liens and the IRS has been sending those things out to people, even sometimes when people don't owe. So you want to make sure that you are taking the time to actually address and make sure that you're handling whatever it is you do owe. You don't want to leave yourself or your family and those things exposed to the IRS. You want to address the outstanding balances. You want to address the outstanding taxes, and you want to address them now while you make less money, because there are more opportunities to resolve it in ways that you won't be able to resolve it when you're making more money, if that makes sense. So I would say, if you're a professional or business owner or accountant or whoever, don't be embarrassed about what's going on. Don't feel like, well, I should have known this. You don't know, you didn't know, whatever the case is. The important thing is that we resolve it. And what do we need to do to resolve it? And so that's where I come in. If you are needing help or support, or this is you, take some time to get this resolved. Don't wait. Don't walk. You want to run to get this resolved and get it resolved soon. You want to resolve it before the IRS comes knocking at your door, because then they're less likely to work with you. So that's my spiel for today. If you are somebody who needs some help, I put a link in the caption there where you can actually set up time to work with us to get on a free consultation call. You can also find me at www.shantathomas.com, where you can work with me and be able to get these things resolved. Like I said, I'm working on 2 offering compromises right now, which I'll be honest with you, offering compromises don't come easy and they don't come frequently. But I have 2 of them right now. And part of the reason why I have those 2 offers is because they made a lot of money then. They're not making as much money now. And as a result, they qualified for an offer in a way they would not have qualified if they were still making the amount of money that they made from 4 years ago. So if that's you, or if you just have outstanding tax liabilities, don't wait. If you're getting letters from the IRS, don't wait. If you have multiple years of unfiled returns, don't wait. That this issue will only get bigger. The IRS will not go away. And yes, they will actually put levies and liens against your stuff. I had 2 people who got levies and liens before they started working with me. So you want to try to get it resolved. So that's it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you all next time.